Right, plan tonight. We're going to do some stuff from Mount. Kind of carrying on what we did previously with wrestling and hand fighting and various other things. So it's kind of giving you a path to lead into. Just start off the session then. What we want you to do is start from Mount. If you've never seen Mount, this is a Mount. We're only going to start here once because it's dog shit. Start from this position. You're going to try and keep control, try and get further control, try and figure out what further control means, try and maintain some form of control. Partners just going to try and escape, figure out how to get out of this. Make sense? So all we're going to do is start from here. They're going to try and get out. I'm going to try and maintain and try and dominate the position. Off you go. Okay, so details to consider. So that's pretty much the only time we're going to be going from Mount for anything. Trying to get anything from Mount is kind of a shit position. It's not worth just training from that position just because they're going to be in a highly defensive mood when we're there. So if I'm underneath Naki, for example, oh God, man, my knee's still hurt. Underneath here, like if this is how we're normally going to train, and I'm going to start with my arms in, it gives him nothing to work with. He's got very little control. Yeah, okay, he's sitting on top of me, but everything he kind of wants, especially in Nogi, he can't have right now because my arms are down here. They can be framing on his hip. And I can be looking at escaping my legs instantly. Like if I drop one leg down, I've got a higher chance of being able to push him back into like a half guard, quarter guard situation. It's only when my arms come up in any way and he moves into my armpits that things start to get difficult for me. So I won't be able to keep my elbows down and keep him down towards my hips, which then becomes a problem because if we start all our training from here, we're not going to learn anything. So the goal position that we're going to be working towards today is having their arm tied to their head, at least one arm, if not two. If you can tie two arms to the head, perfect. But again, you're not going to score it from this position. So I wanted to feel the end goal. So Naki goes on his back. Just here. The goal position then would be to have not like a head and arm choke. I don't really care the setup of your arms. You can have from ear to arm or from arm to ear. I don't care, or cuddle it. I don't really give a shit. But if you can get their arm tied to their head, this is going to stop him from bridging. This is going to stop him from being able to escape his legs as easily. He's going to lose a lot of his strength if I can just tie his elbow to his ears. If I can get both tied to his ears, which you'd have to be pretty stupid, he's got fuck all hope now. That's perfect. But we at least want one tied to his head. When it comes to your feet, glue your heels into the asshole. Sorry, Nak. Pardon?
Yeah.
So, stare at Naki's asshole. I want to preferably I cross my feet and glue him into his ass. If they're out in any way, he can drop his ankles and start hunting for a half guard. But if I glue them deep into his asshole, he can't go hunting. If you want to make it more advanced, if he starts turning to his side, like if he turns to his left, I hide that foot underneath my other one, so now he can't find it. So now he wants this foot to escape, so he can find that, which makes his life easier. But if I hide it with that ankle, he's now kicking the wrong ankle trying to find it. And if you change your sides, I change ankles, and now he can't find what he wants. So it's just like, if you want to make life even more difficult, just glue your heels into the asshole and cross your feet, hide in the ankle of the direction he's facing. But otherwise, just keep it nice and glued in. It's going to make their life a lot harder. So if you can hold this position, so come back. So I've glued my feet into his ass, and glue his arm from here. Try to do anything now. Yeah, it's very fucking difficult to get out of this. I'm not going for a submission. I'm not trying to choke him or anything. I'm just gluing that to there. Make sense? Feel how awkward that is. So heels in asshole, arm tied to head. Just go from there. Just so I said we're starting at the end, and so we know what to work towards. Off you go. So that's not complicated. But you feel what I mean? It's once your arm's tied to your head, compared to where you were before, it's a lot more difficult. So that's what we're going to be aiming for. Normal jiu-jitsu mindset would be to start from side. There's always been a protocol in jiu-jitsu of you pass the guard, you go to side control, and then you go to mount. The problem is that's just one step too many. And if I'm going, so if I was to pass Naki's guard somehow, fucking with some sort of voodoo magic, and go for side control, A, his arm's not up next to his head. I'm going to have to work for that in a minute. And B, if I try and go for guard in any way, the second I lift my leg up, I'm taking my weight off and opening up space, which is going to allow him to get this back in and shrimp and all that kind of, especially if you're quite tall and your opponent's got short limbs, like it makes it quite easy. Like I can have the tightest control pinning his hips in, but I have to take my weight off my leg to be able to move it. It's unavoidable. That's how your body works. So if I want to go, I have to make space. And if he's reading it, he's just going to start framing at that point. So I've made my life too awkward to go to something that's kind of useless, especially in no-gi. It makes more sense to go directly from guard straight to where we want, bypass side control completely. And so all I'm ever looking for is going from like a half guard situation straight up the middle to mount. If he's in half guard only sticks to you if he's on his side. The second his ass hits the floor, half guard falls apart. So if he does atypical jiu-jitsu half guard, I try and pull my leg out now. Hold it. I can't. The second his hip goes flat, comes straight for the middle. And so if I can get his shoulders or his hips towards the floor, I can pull my leg out quite quickly. So as soon as I see an underhook on either side, I'm not just going to take the underhook, I'm going to fire it through and keep working it until it's glued to his ears. Now, I can climb through, bypass everything, get my 7 points, and his life's now difficult. And I've got everything I want for submissions and just tiring him the fuck out. If he puts me back into half guard, fine. Then I'll work into it again. As soon as you feel that glued to your head, you feel that your will to hold onto the leg falls apart. So I'm not just getting a basic underhook, I'm tying the arm to the head and climbing north, because he can't do shit while he's there. He's flat and his arm's tied to his head. The only thing you need to be careful of is lockdown, which we'll talk about later. Sorry, Nak.
It's okay. We're still traumatized.
I know you are. It's 2 different days.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to feel that of going from this kind of situation of having your leg trapped, feeling what it's like to put just their hip ass on the floor, and your leg will just pull through a lot quicker. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's going to come through quicker. And then just feel that process. As soon as that's tied to there, like try and like control it. Yeah, I can start just peeling them apart. I'm not rushing it. Like I'm winning. You don't need to rush it at this point. Don't rush the pass. He's falling apart. It is. You're cooking him. I can just take my time, walking through, getting it right. And I can hold this. I don't need to do anything else. He's already in the shit place, and I can just cook him because he can't do anything effectively. Yeah, or he might, if he's powerful, he might do some shit, but it's costing him so much. So get that feeling, going straight from guard, bypass side control entirely, just go straight through to that position. So we're trying to create that path of what we're trying to do, like realize that we're going to go straight from a guard situation, straight through to mount and cook people on the way. Feel it, and then we'll actually turn it into something useful. Off you go. It will deal with a lot of issues as well when you start taking up that position, is that if they're flat, a lot of their shit won't work. If you get that kind of cross-face far underhook and just put them flat. But when we start doing the drill in a minute, I need you to not be desperate with the hunt for it. That's why we're going to be tying it back to what we did about hand fighting. Because if you understand how the hand fight is useful, then you don't have to become desperate. You know when you are vulnerable and you know when to go hunting. There's no point just trying to like be afraid and just start trying to fire your way through. Like find the right moment for it. So if we go back to what we were discussing last week with the hand fight, is you're saying that over, under, round and through, I want to get past his elbows. And Everything you've ever wanted is trying to get past the elbows to gain access to the spine. With his knee here, he's going to be controlling the inside. I want the inside, so right now wouldn't be go time. That's why if he's got a knee shield, I can't go through the middle. I need to get past his knee shield and control the center line. If he's controlling the center line with his arms in the middle or his knee in the middle, I can't go. That's not my moment. I'd have to do something else. That's why I'm looking at maybe going around the outside or something. And trying to flank him and then use a different technique. But if I can find my way to the middle here, that's my moment. I can start pushing through. The other thing I need to be wary of, and I know Naki knows this, fuck you. No, not even that. It's the bottom knee. So the only reason a knee shield will work is because of this. So if I'm, if I do it here. If I'm trying to use a knee shield and control the center line, this knee dictates whether my knee shield will work or not. If my knee is this side of his knee, so I can see my knee here, he can't get past my knee shield as easily because he can't step around. If he can put his knee in front of mine, he can now work his way past my knee. So that's kind of like the moment that me and Naki know when the other person's kind of fucking up. Is that this knee, the bottom knee, the one you're not thinking about, is the one that actually is important. And we know, we play it on each other all the time, is that one of us will play a knee shield, and the other one just start doing that. It's like, fuck. Like, you know your guard's falling apart because now your knee's gone. And if he can just find his way into the center line now, yeah, then it's all over. But that's the important knee. That's the one you want to try and clear. That's the one I want to make sure that he can't get past, because now I'm controlling the inside completely. So if he starts to try and walk ahead of that, he can't have it. The only thing that we worried, the only reason I'd ever dedicate this knee is if he brings his knee forwards, is if I'm trying to go for a leg lock. But if he's got my chest on, if he's got my back on the floor and his chest on my chest, there's no way I'm going for that. This is fucking never going to happen. So keep your knee as a block. Try and control the center line here. If your partner gets in on the center line, that's the moment you go. Because now, and then your head's hitting the floor. So that would be the moment. So there's no point just desperately firing for it. Choose the right moment to go, because that is the right moment to go. Is making sure your hand fighting. If your hand fighting can't find you there, well, you don't get to do it. So then what becomes more important? Hand fight. Learning to hand fight effectively, finding that right moment. So that's what I mean. So that's why the rest of the drill is I want you to, person on top, you're going to win. It's your drill. I want you to get better. Person on the bottom, you need to give good resistance, give good hand fighting, but not too much that the person on top always fails. Okay? So, like, giving them maths problems, don't just give them the hardest fucking sums. Like, give them sums that cause them to think, but they're going to get better at maths. Don't just give them like the most difficult shit you can think of, because at that point, if you're going to set the hardest fucking tasks for your partner, they ain't going to get better. They're just going to sit there fucking frustrated and confused. And you're going to get nothing done. So, for example, like if Naki is trying to help me out, so it's almost like, it would look like sparring, but I'm going to win, okay? He has to let me win, but he's going to give me good resistance. So I know, like right now, we're not just going. It could be like 2 or 3 minutes of just finding that moment. But right now is not the moment. Yeah. So playing a bit of a 2-on-1, getting his hand to the ground, he exposed it, boom, and we're out. And now I can start hunting, tying it to his head, okay? So it's just finding those right moments to go and get that down the center line. Make sense? But he's going to give me increased resistance, maybe throw some curveballs at me. But he's trying to make me better, not prove that he's better than me. Make sense? So that's the goal for the next, however long, until I get bored. Until we get some issues. Make sense? So hand fighting, center line, getting that underhook, peeling it to the head and going through the middle. Then holding it. Off you go. Nice. So I wanted to change up the drill a little bit. Naki made a really good point, is when it comes to guard, when we're hand fighting, we're also doing it hand fighting with the legs. Is what we want to do to the elbows is what we want to do to the knees. So how we attack from here is exactly the same shit. Is I need to get past his kneecaps to get to the guard pass. That's what we were talking about earlier, about getting ahead of this knee. I've already gone round it. So I've gone over the knee, essentially. Same with this one, is I need to get past this knee. So that could be going through the middle and getting past the knee that way, going through or going around and flanking the knee this way. But either way, I want the knee broken. So I'm going to have to use my weight and use my intensity. If you're training in socks, that's going to make your life hard because you've got no grip on the floor. And what's going to help you is treating them like they're trying to get up. Like if they're just someone who lies on the floor, you can kind of take your time and find your moment.
Boring.
But if I treat him like he's going to stand, even if he isn't going to stand, I'm going to bully him a lot more. Does that make sense? So I'm aware of the hand fight. I want to control the hand fight a lot more. But I'm also aware of him standing up. And so I'm putting a lot more pressure on him. So I don't want you to do it. I'm not going to do it, should I say? I want to see what you do. But I want you to imagine they're trying to get up and run away. Okay? How would you treat them? Because if I just sit back and Naki goes to get up and run away, he's just going to get up. I've got no pressure on him. But if I think he's going to get up, I'm going to do various things, putting pressure forwards. I've already fixed my posture. My knees are coming in. I'm putting direct pressure in towards him. I'm pushing him down. I'm controlling everything, controlling the inside space. I'm being a lot more of a bully. Does that make sense? So don't just sit back and just hand fight relaxed. Let's imagine the worst is going to happen. So picture that person's going to try and stand and you're going to bully them like they're trying to stand up, even if they're not. So hand fight, control the middle, control the knees. You're trying to get past them again. So getting through the middle, over them, around them. Same idea as the elbows. Getting that underhook, tying it hard to the ears and treat them. Keep that pressure on them like they're trying to stand because that will solve a lot of your problems. Person on the floor, give good resistance, give good hand fighting. If you know any submission attempts, tease them if they make any mistakes. Use your knee shield. Tease getting up as well so you get that good pressure going forwards. But again, top person should win. So give them the right level of resistance that they're working. Off you go.